So I remember when God truly revealed to me that he was real and that I was saved completely by grace. And I knew that I was so undeserving of what he's done in my life. I remember I didn't know how to say thank you with words. I was conflicted for like a week, just crying and just trying to be like, God, I don't understand why you've done this for me. I don't understand. And I just couldn't get thank you out the way that I wanted it to. Like, my words didn't meet with the amount of meaning that was in me. And so I just remember telling God that from this day forward that I was going to pray for every single customer that came into our store. And so the next day, the first person that came in was Kalara, this African lady. And, she was one of my least favorite customers from that time. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, of course, this is the one that I got to pray for first, the one that I least like. And God was like, well, you told me you were going to tell everybody. So here's your opportunity. And so she came in, and I remember this lady, she would always come in, she was very bitter, never smiled, never wanted to hold a conversation, and she just had a bad attitude all the time. And so I judged her on that. And so I remember just witnessing to her and just saying, is there anything that I can pray for you about? And immediately it just struck her right to her heart, and she started opening up to me and telling me how, she's a mother of 5 kids, and her oldest son just died, and started telling me about all these problems. Her and her husband both lost their jobs, and he had to go back to Africa in order to supply money. So I'm just thinking, like, wow, here I am, like, judging this lady this whole time, and she's going through pain that I've probably never even come close to knowing. And so she was just asking me, she's like, can you just pray for provision, da-da-da-da-da, things like that. And so, of course, I prayed for her. She came in probably like a week later with all of her kids, all the 4 kids that she had. And in the years that she's been coming, she never brought her kids. And she came in, and the first thing she said, she had a big smile on her face. She came in the door, and she was just like, you won't believe what your Jesus did for me. And I was so pumped. I was just like, what's going on? And she said, the day that you prayed for me about the Lord's provision in my life, we were really struggling. And a guy from years back that owed us a lump sum of money called me up the very day you prayed for me to pay us back that money. And she brought all her kids, and she's like, I just want you to pray for all my kids, just because I just want Jesus. I see that Jesus is real. And she would just come in, just seeking prayer and seeking advice. And that was the moment that I knew that there really is a mission statement in the business that we are in. And in any place that you go, our mission is not a trip. Mission is a lifestyle. And so anywhere that you are, wherever God has you, whether it be a pawn shop, or actually being on the mission field, or wherever it is, God can use you to really just be a light into the world and just bring hope. And so that was the beginning of something major. And ever since that moment, we've probably had 100 salvations between our stores, and God just really proven faithful. And so that's where we are.